Okay, ladies, thank you so much for coming to this webinar, Six Figures in 6 Months. And this is specifically for those who want to go from struggle and overwhelm to a business of ease and high profits. Just real quick, some of you I know me. There were some names that I definitely saw and that were familiar. And then there were some brand new names, so super quick. This is my fabulous husband, Eric, on the left-hand side. We've been married for about 12 years. That was actually in Jamaica for his 40th birthday. And this is my sweet son, Dylan, on the right-hand side. He just turned 9 years old. So I am a wife and a mom. That is my main role. That is the focus in my life, and I love being a wife and mom. And who I help as a business owner, I help lots of women up there in the top. This is an individual. She generally has a business out of her home. She's a service-based woman entrepreneur. So essentially, if you are your product, if you are finding a way to package your time and your expertise to help your clients solve problems, that's who I help. I help women that are located all across the United States. I would say at least half of my clients I have never met face-to-face. They are all over the place: California, Texas, Ohio, Tennessee, Pennsylvania, and then half of my clients I do have the privilege of actually meeting here locally in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I've met them through networking events. And so I help women in all different industries, but again, they're service-based women entrepreneurs. And then the bottom, that's actually a picture of our family business. We bought a brick-and-mortar store. It's actually here in our neighborhood last year, just about gosh, I guess almost a year ago. We bought it in July 2014, and it is a video game store. You actually see all those chairs, so the kids are able to be dropped off. It's a kid's dream. They can play Xbox, Wii, all these things that I'm so not a video games person, but my husband and son are, and it's been phenomenal. My husband's been able to leave teaching, and he's been a teacher for 18 years, and this is his business. So myself, my son, we are there constantly, helping out. The store's open 7 days a week. But what's been fabulous from a business perspective is to apply what I know about how to grow an in-home business, how to market, right, the systems to have in place, how to have a six-figure practice, and apply that to a brick-and-mortar store. And what I have found is that the core philosophies of what it takes to have a successful business are the same. Yes, how I market to the women entrepreneur is a couple different marketing strategies than what I use for our Gamesters business, is the name of the store. But the concepts of marketing are the same. So these principles, it's the fundamentals of how to grow a six-figure practice, regardless of the business you're in, the industry, whether you work from home or whether you actually own a store. It's the same. And this particular webinar, this is for that coach, that mentor, that healer who is really ready to ramp it up. They already know they're in the right business. They are good at what they do. And right now they're maybe at the $1,000, $2,000 mark, which that's fabulous, right? That means they've already gotten in so much of the basics of a business up and running, but they're ready to ramp it up. They are ready to work a bit less and earn a bit more. They are ready for consistent, $5,000, $8,000 months, $10,000 months. And this webinar specifically, this business model that I'm going to teach you, is specifically for that individual who can actually see how they're providing not just information, or service, but they are actually about transforming their clients' lives. So they are open to the idea of thinking outside the box of how they can package their time and their expertise, their passion, right, their mission in life to help folks experience the greatest transformation in the quickest, easiest way. So you can think of a transformation for your clients. Maybe you help them with relationships, maybe to keep them from getting a divorce, right? You're helping to mend that relationship. Or maybe it's their health. You work with people who are sick and tired of feeling sick and tired, and they want to feel dramatically different. Again, in the quickest, easiest way. It's not about just picking up tips or just knowing, what to do, exercise more, eat less. It is that you personally will not be satisfied until their health, their relationship, their money, their business, their whatever, their personal style is transformed. And this model is also for the individual who is open to the idea of not just charging by hour or per session, which is how a lot of business models are set up. And it's, you know, it's what maybe we're historically used to. But I can tell you it's a hard sell. So let's say you're a health coach and you go to your website, it's like you could buy 3 sessions for $125. That's a super hard sell. Yet most websites that I go to, it's about that. They're charging per hour, they're charging per session. But instead, if you were able to figure out how to package this transformation that your clients are most hungry for, and you were charging for the solution, for that end result, for getting them to this top of this mountain. And it's less for them about how much time it took you to get them up that mountain. They just want to get up that mountain. They don't care if it takes 10 hours of your time or 100 hours of your time. So that is who this business model is for. But you might be thinking, yep, that's me, Claire. Yes, I'm definitely meant to be doing this. You know, I'm definitely meant to be a relationship coach or this life coach or a healer. But oh my gosh, this whole business building thing is overwhelming. Like, how the heck am I supposed to do this? And how do I market? And how do I find clients? And how do I find clients that will pay more than, $100? Like, how do I do that? And this is what really truly puts most service-based women entrepreneurs out of business, because it could appear overwhelming. So unfortunately, they close shop as the best kept secret. And that passion that's burning deep in their belly about helping, truly helping. People want to truly help. I haven't met a service-based provider who doesn't truly want to help. And it hurts my heart truly when I see them working way too much, for bringing in $500 a month, $1,000 a month, and I know part of them might be thinking, especially our service-based, really heartfelt entrepreneurs, being like, well, I'm not in it for the money. Well, if you're not in it for the money, totally understand what you're saying, not in it for the money. But a lot of times we say that, and that's really a self-limiting belief, because what we're really saying is we don't want the money. And guess what? Our business won't bring in the money. So I could tell you that it doesn't need to be one or the other. It's not about, well, I just really want to help people and not make money, or I just want to make money and not help people. It's both. How can you truly make such an impact on this person's life? Like, they will forever be changed because of their interaction with you. And how can you have this business that allows you to be all that you want to be, that allows you to have plenty to spare and share, that's not at anyone else's expense, right? So again, you might be struggling, being like, how does this work? How do I do this? But my personal belief, ladies, is that I do not believe that the seed of desire that's implanted in your heart to help folks solve specific problems, I do not believe that was planted deep in your heart just for any old reason. And that God's messing with you, that he's given you this desire without the ability to make it happen. That's not true. You have every bit of ability. It's a done deal. I love saying it's a done deal. I believe if that seed of desire is implanted in your heart, it's a done deal. Even if what your reality is very different, even if your bank account balance in your business right now is non-existent, $500, $1,000, negative $1,000. I'm not talking about looking at the reality. What this is about is knowing that it is a done deal. Maybe you don't know how or when it's going to happen, but when you can firmly gain that belief that once you buy into that this is a done deal, you will be given everything you need to make that happen. You'll be given the people, the resources, the tools at just the right time. The only reason, ladies, that you won't get there is if you give up, is if you throw in the towel. So don't do that. Yes, I understand there's moments of overwhelm. I like to tell my clients, this 80-20 rule, which I apply to everything in my life. Because some folks are like, oh my gosh, Claire, you've got, you're doing this, and then you've got your own business, and now I'm also added something else to my plate. I'm helping my brother get his business off the ground within the month, June 1st, and it's just a couple doors down from our family business. And people are like, oh my gosh, and you're always just so calm, cool, and collected and not overwhelmed. And I'm like, I would lie if I said I was never overwhelmed. There's moments of overwhelm for sure, but I'm always the 80-20 rule. If 80% of the time I just feel on top of things are plugging along, and 20% of the time I feel overwhelmed, for me that truly is an A+. Okay, so I am not saying that your journey will be free of those moments of overwhelm or doubt, but the sooner we can just believe and just say, you know what, I'm not going to just believe with my physical eyes that this is a done deal. I'm going to believe deep in my core with my spiritual eyes and have that faith this is a done deal. I'm just going to put one foot in front of the other. Okay, so ladies, that is just truly huge, because I know that you can get there. Now, many women do have a dream of having a six-figure business, a six-figure practice. And to be honest, it takes most folks who get there. I'm not talking about the people that started up this Mount Everest and stopped, right, that went running off the hill. It does take most business women at least 5 years from when they start to hit a six-figure practice. But that does not mean that that needs to be you. I do believe that there are ways to take years and years and years off of that journey. And the business model that I want to show you today is one proven way to do that, to take years off of that journey. So what we're going to talk about today is why you don't have all the money and clients you want, even though you could, you truly could, and how you can have your dream practice even more effortlessly than you can imagine. And we are going to talk about the mechanics behind a six-figure practice for a steady stream of new ideal clients and consistent high-income months. And we're also going to talk about how to run your business like a well-oiled machine, because that's what it's about, right? We want more clients, we want more money, we want the mechanics of this business, but we don't want it to take over our life, right? We truly want this running well, so you've got plenty of time to take off, plenty of time to relax, recharge. Those are some of my favorite things to do. So let's talk about why you don't have all the money and clients you want. My answer to you ladies is not, well, you're just not working hard enough, so work harder. Or it's not going to be, well, you're just brand spanking new. I mean, just gain more experience. And it's not, well, you just create more. Get into creation. Create all these little ebooks and products and offers and group programs. My answer will be none of that. None of that at all. The reason you don't have the clients and the money is because of your mindset. And these are the three things that it takes to have a six-figure practice. It takes the belief, that deep-seated belief that this is a done deal. It takes a strong profit funnel, which we're going to be talking about as well. What is a profit funnel? And it also takes a six-figure system. So why you don't have the clients and money? It's because of our mindset. It's because we might not have a strong profit funnel, and we might have these broken systems that are truly keeping us in overwhelm. But I can tell you this is the circle that most business women are interested in learning about, right? This is probably the programs that you're investing in. How do I market? Social media, Facebook, how am I supposed to be doing it? How to find new clients? And this is huge, but this is about 10% of the picture. These systems, how you're managing your time and your energy, super important. We do want all of these, we need these three cylinders to be operating, but about 10%. So 80% mathematically, but I sometimes even want to say 80 to 90% of having a six-figure practice is your mindset. That belief that, again, that this is such a done deal, but most folks don't necessarily invest in maybe a program about mindset, even though that truly is what's tripping them up. But that's what's going on. It's what's happening between your ears, because you could have the best profit funnel ever, but if your deep subconscious mind doesn't believe that you're worth it, doesn't believe that there's enough clients out there that will pay it, that doesn't believe you've got enough time to make this happen, whatever that might be, your negative Nelly, I like to say, whatever you believe, you're right. So let's talk a bit about that, because lack of money, not having enough money in your business or in life, or not having enough clients, it's not a circumstance. It's not a circumstance of the economy. It's not a circumstance because your brand's making new in your business. It's not a circumstance because of where you live. Maybe you live in a small town. It's absolutely 100% a result of your mindset. This might sound harsh. When I say you, I'm pointing the finger at me too. We are the reason for our results or our lack of. And I can tell you, when I was first growing my business, the first couple of years, I mean, first of all, I never even heard of this stuff about mindset, but I would have been like, whatever, that sounds weird. It's all about what I do, right? I just need to work harder. But that's not the case. And here is this phenomenal chart. And this is from a book called Ask and It Is Given. Let me see if my pen's still working. No, it's not. That's okay. It's called Ask and It Is Given. And there's a couple of things with mindset, ladies. One is our thoughts, which we, that's what I normally call my negative Nelly, where I hear what she's saying, right? Either I hear it come out of my mouth because I'm saying something negative to someone else, or it's just that recorder that's going off in my mind. So many times we're aware of what our negative Nelly is saying. Not always, but many times. Although most people don't realize the impact on what negative Nelly is saying and how that completely correlates to the results that we're getting in business and in life. But this book, Ask and It Is Given, did such a phenomenal job of saying, but you know what, ladies, that's half the picture, but there's all this stuff going on in our deep subconscious mind that we don't even know about, that is tripping us up. And a good indicator of what those thoughts and beliefs are in our deep subconscious mind is how our body is feeling, like the emotions. And what I have found is that most women, we say we want one thing, but our beliefs are something else, right? We say we want a six-figure practice, but when we think about our business, we're thinking of overwhelm and doubt, like, gosh, can I really do this? Is this really going to, replace my full-time income? Oh my gosh, can I really do this? Or unworthiness. Well, who am I? I'm brand spanking new, right? So I could tell you that when the mass majority of our emotions, and we're just talking about our business now, when the mass majority of our emotions are on the left-hand side here, and what we're saying is actually in correlation with what we're feeling, then what we want, we're getting. You can use the word manifesting or repelling. So you're either manifesting what you say you want in your business, right? The type of clients, how many clients, the income level, what your business looks like. You're either manifesting it and it's happening, or you're repelling it. And if the majority of our emotions are on the left-hand side, we're just grateful. We have positive expectation. We have belief that this is a done deal. We are so hopeful that, again, even if the current reality looks very different from what we're trying to achieve, it doesn't get us down, because we are in such positive expectation that we're like, we don't know how or when. I'm just putting one foot in front of the other, and this is just such a done deal. However, most businesswomen are in the right-hand side, where we say we want one thing, but not only are we not getting it, but we're like repelling it. When we are more in like frustration or impatience, we just want it to happen now. Can it just happen now? Or overwhelm, or doubt, or worry, or fear. And actually, these, I don't have them numbered, but if you thought of these like 18 emotions, number 1 through 18, there might actually be more than 18 here, but the top left is those emotions: faith, trust, joy, love, appreciation, gratitude. Those are the strongest emotions with manifesting. And then they get a bit weaker as you go down: passion, enthusiasm, although all of those are positive manifesting emotions that we're feeling. So on the right-hand side, boredom, and then it gets all the way down to the bottom. So if we're feeling fear, grief, depression, despair, powerlessness, that's truly where we're repelling what it is that we say we want. So again, some of you, this might be new language. Some of you might live in this language and totally understand when I'm saying manifesting and repelling. Some of you might be like, Claire, this sounds like do-do-do-do-do-do-do, and so against my faith, or whatever you might be saying. And I can't say I hadn't had those thoughts, at some point along the way. But this is 100% fact. And the fact is there is limitless supply. And that's for on the left-hand side, right? When you're just like, there are more, for each of you on this call, there are more people that need your help than you can possibly service. There is more money to go around. Every single person can have plenty to spare and share. But that might not be your belief, or that might not be your deep-seated belief. And those folks who have a tremendously successful business, they just have this abundance mentality, where there's abundant amount of resources. There's abundant amount of clients. And ask yourself, have you ever been more on the lack mentality? Like competition. Oh, there's another health coach out there, and like almost felt, about it. It's a competition. And I mean, I don't feel that way with business coaches. There's tons of business coaches and business mentors. And I would encourage them to, come talk to my community, come to my networking meeting. Like, because there are more business owners out there that need our help than we can possibly, have enough time in the day for. But just do a little gut check. Do you feel like do you have an abundance mentality or a lack mentality? Because there's no limits. These are just self-imposed limits through our thoughts and through our subconscious mind. Like, have you ever heard yourself say, well, my clients say they just won't pay for this. They don't have the money. My clients don't invest in themselves. I'm not about making money. I'm not in this to make money. I don't like to sell. Like, whatever you say, first of all, there are limits now. And you're going to be right. Like I said before, you're right regardless of what you think. So if you think that selling is icky, if you think you're not about making money, then you're right. You're not going to make any money. If you think that clients don't pay for this, guess what? Those are the clients that you're going to meet. People who keep saying, I can't pay for this. I don't have the money. I don't have the money. So these are self-imposed limits. Like I said, it's limitless. So that's why we don't have all the money or the clients. It's our mindset. But what do we do about this? Because once we know it, what is it we can do about it to clear out all these years and years of gunk that have been accumulating in our subconscious mind? And not even just our subconscious mind, our conscious mind as well, right? Negative Nelly lives in that conscious mind. And you hear her, and I don't know what you all call what I'm saying, negative Nelly, right? Some people call it their inner lizard. I don't know. Shout out if anyone else if you call what that voice is, that negative Nelly, whatever that might be. So let's now talk about, well, how can you have this dream practice? We know what's been tripping us up. Yep, pain in my tush. I like that, Lori. Yep. Give that little voice a name. And I always like to say that I like to trash talk my negative Nelly. She is not getting the best of me. She is not going to rain on my parade. She is not going to rob me of my dream. So trash talk her. So how can you have this dream practice? All right, so it starts with knowing what your dream practice looks like. And this might sound so simple, but oh my gosh, ladies, it's not. It is not. So many times we're putting these limits on ourselves. So my question to you, and I'm going to ask that you do this right after you get off the webinar, is if there were no limitations, no negative consequences, and your limitations being like you're not dealing with your current reality. So let's say that you've got a full-time job, or you've got 4 kids that you're homeschooling and you're home with them all day long. Like, don't just deal with your current reality. Okay, so sort of set that aside. If there are no limitations, no negative consequences, what would your ideal, perfect, average workday look like a year from now? When I say a year from now, it's just because a lot of times we can think better when we're thinking a year from now. Because again, our negative Nelly can be loud if I say, you know, in 3 months from now or 6 months from now. But this is an average, perfect, ideal day that you can live into a heck of a lot sooner than a year from now. And it's a matter of like when you wake up, right? Where are you waking up? You know, what does your house look like? Are you at a beach house, a brand new beach house? And what is your morning routine like? And when do you start working? And where do you go to work? And what are you wearing? Something comfy? Are you looking sharp? What do you do at work? Like, how are you interacting with your clients in this perfect, ideal workday? Are you meeting with them face to face? Are you over the phone? You know, what's the flow of your day? I'm sure it's not one of overwhelm. Like, what is that, like, peaceful, productive, you know, where you just are like, have this sense of calm, but you're super proud of yourself at the end of the day. And what is the end of the day? When do you stop working? And what's your evening like? You know, and your bedtime routine. And have fun with this, ladies. It's one of the most powerful things you can do. And if you've done it before, do it again, because I bet you had limitations, right? Again, sometimes I give the example of, you know, maybe I have 4 kids and I'm homeschooling and I'm looking at the most perfect ideal day, and you know, I'm like, gosh, in your perfect ideal day, you still seem pretty stressed. And she's like, well, you know, I've got 4 kids. And I was like, well, in a perfect ideal day, she's like, well, in a perfect ideal day, I mean, I would have somebody come in, you know, at least 3 hours a day, but I can't pay them. I said, stop all that. That is limitation up the wazoo. I said, no limitations, no negative consequences. No one's going to think negatively that you're lazy, that you're this, that you're a bad mom, none of that. Connect to that deep core of what it is you would love your life to look like. Your perfect average ideal day. Meaning, when I say perfect average ideal day, I just mean like if it was Groundhog's Day and you live the same day over and over and over again, what would that look like? And then see that over and over and over again. There are different ways to do this. For me, I have an audio affirmation. It's just me talking to me, painting a picture of how fabulous business and life is looking like at the end of the year. And this is one of the part of my audio affirmations, is I walk myself through this day and what it feels like, and, you know, getting in vivid detail. And in total, my audio affirmations is 10 minutes. And then I have a condensed version that's about 3 minutes for my, like, days that I'm really, you know, don't have much time in the morning. But I listen to that over and over and over every day. First thing I do in the morning, you know, with my comfy coffee, my comfy chair, and I see it over and over and over again. And ladies, it's those simple things that when you do consistently, do you think you're getting that you'll get what you want? Are you manifesting that business that you, yes, oh my gosh. And it's so enjoyable. I would not want to give up that morning time for anything right now. It might be uncomfortable initially, right? I mean, I've been getting up for a morning routine for the last 4 years, but it's, you know, originally I was like, oh, I'm not a morning person. I want to get every bit of sleep. And so it might feel uncomfortable at first, but then you get to a point where it would feel uncomfortable not to do it. So that's one way to start clearing out this gunk, and for the majority of your emotions to be on the left-hand side of that emotions chart. Because it doesn't happen in a day. It's a journey. And ladies, even if you've got a dream of like $1 million business, even when you're at the $1 million mark, working on your mindset is a daily thing. It's not like you arrive and you're done and you've once and for all conquered negative Nelly, because negative Nelly is going to reappear. Like when working with me, let's say it was, you know, $127 a month, right? And then I was ready to up it, let's say to $497 a month. And then I was ready to up it that the investment was $3,000 to work with me. And then the investment to work with me for 6 months was $5,000. Every single level, every time you're ready to up level, every time you're ready to do something new, every time you're ready to grow, she reappears her ugly head. So this is not a one-time thing. This is a daily practice that, again, I believe you can thoroughly, thoroughly enjoy. So another thing, you know, I talked about identifying what that perfect ideal average day would be, and just to build your business around your life and what's most important. I love to identify what I call your sweet spot business model. and then grow into that business model and know it's a done deal. Don't think that, oh, if I don't work on Saturdays, I'm not going to have enough clients. Oh, if I don't work, those are all limiting beliefs, okay? Folks told me that initially. They're like, Claire, if you don't have coaching calls nights and weekends, what about the people who are working full-time jobs? And I said, nope. I am building my business around my family, around the ideal day for me. I don't want to work nights and weekends. And are there an abundant amount of clients who have been able to work with me? Yes. It doesn't limit. Again, these are self-imposed limits. So for me, my sweet spot business model is one that's built around my family, it's highly profitable, and it's highly streamlined so that I can get a lot done in a short period of time, so I do have plenty of time to enjoy life. So to quicken your path up the mountain, right, you all are probably at a base of the mountain right now. Your business is at a certain point, you're enjoying it, you know you're meant to be doing this, but you just want to get there, right? You're pointing up there to Mount Everest. I want that. So to quicken your path up that mountain to get that dream practice, the first thing is, like we said, strengthen your mindset. That's that little, that is the dump truck from Toy Story. We got to clear out that gunk. And it's a daily thing. So find some way. I just gave you one example, right? That most perfect ideal day and that how I hear it over and over and over again. But it's not a one size fits all. It's some way for you to strengthen that daily. Another thing is just to become comfortable with the messiness of growing a business, because it is messy. We don't always know, should I do this? Should I do that? You just put one foot in front of the other and know that as long as you're putting one foot in front of the other, as long as you believe this is a done deal, and you just do whatever seems like the best thing to do, and you go with it. You're not going to know until you do it. So the sooner we can become comfortable with that, and that when you're ready to truly ramp it up, you find one expert to hold your hand. And this is what I see trips so many folks up. And I think it's also because it's a blessing right now. Like, we have access to so much free information like this, right? Webinars, ebooks, and it's great. And I really feel like there's a place for this as well. Absolutely. I'm a sponge for information. Most entrepreneurs are a sponge. But then it gets to a point where we've accumulated so much that it feels like we have this big jumbled mess. And it feels like, well, this expert's advice conflicted with this expert's advice, and there gets to be a point where we just get this overwhelm. And when you get there, it's time to reach out to somebody who's going to simplify it for you, and you do this step, and then this step, and then this step. So those are some ways to quicken your path up the mountain. But now I want to talk about, mindset is just critical, and I just don't feel like I will do you justice if I didn't talk about that, because like I said, that's 80 to 90% of the deal. But I know what most people are wanting is, all right, what's the mechanics though? Like, how do you find the client? How do I start making some really, really good money? So let's talk about the mechanics behind a six-figure practice. And there's three main parts of a six-figure practice. It's a strong profit funnel, and I'm going to show you the three parts of that profit funnel. And we need to have all parts up and running consistently. The easiest way to a six-figure practice is to have a high-level transformational offer. A way that I see that trips folks up is they feel like, again, they should have a zillion different offers, and they feel like it would be easier if they just have, like, a $17 ebook and a $27 such and such. Ladies, that is so time intensive to be creating all these low-end offers that you need to sell a heck of a lot of, and then you barely have a list, right? Who are you going to sell this to? Most of my Ready to Ramp It Up Rhondas, they have a list of under 500 people, okay? So a list of under 500 people, you're barely going to make anything off of lower priced, like ebooks, and there's a time and place for that, though, absolutely. There is a time and place for that. And you have a transformational offer, you get so good at getting these people a transformation, and then you slice and dice that offer to different offerings, different formats, and then by then you would have a big list. Have a list of 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, and then go hog wild on these lower end options, okay? I truly see that tripping up. And I don't know if that's new news to you, if you've ever heard anyone give that type of advice. But that is my firm belief. And then it's about keeping more and more of your profit. I mean, I have seen businesses that were so financially stable, healthy, at $40,000. And I've seen businesses that were built on quicksand, and with one bad month, they were going to be out of business, that were bringing in $150,000 because money was coming in, but money was going out just as quickly. So regardless if your brand's making new in your business and you barely have anything coming in, or you do have $5,000, $10,000 a month coming in, it's about how we're managing that. So it all comes down to this. I shared how growing my business, which is very different than our Gamesters business, but it's really not. The fundamentals of my six-figure practice and a six-figure Gamesters is this: it's built on fundamentals, not fads. It's about having the basics of a profit funnel, and it's about some of our habits, right? Keeping more and more of our profit. So let's talk about this. This is the streamlined profit funnel, and this is where I would have loved to have my little pen, but it's not working. That's okay. Okay, let's take a look at this profit funnel. There's three main parts of your profit funnel, and I would say that 95% of women that I meet, maybe I'm having a conversation with, I meet at a networking meeting, they don't have a profit funnel. They either are missing, maybe they have 1 out of 3 or 2 out of 3. Rarely do they have 3 out of 3. And with a profit funnel, it is that every single month we want tens, if not hundreds, of dream clients. At this point, their ideal leads, dream leads, coming into our business, meaning they're coming into our space. We're working our marketing, and they're hearing about us somehow, in person or online, and they're making their way to our list somehow. And there's a lot that goes into that. That's figuring out, it goes beyond figuring out a target market or an ideal client. It's like that dream client. If your practice was full of just one type of person, and you had to have this, only one type of person, but you'd be a happy clam if that person was like this. What would that person be, that dream client? And how do you attract them? Through a marketing plan. And I normally recommend just like 3 core strategies on a marketing plan. Just get those up and running and just start doing them, and start doing them consistently. And that's another place where folks get tripped up, is they feel like they need to be doing more and more and more and more. I'm like, get so good and consistent at what you're doing. Those 3 core marketing strategies. So many people don't have that, right? They don't have this compelling brand where their clients are like, really? You can help me with that? And they don't have a marketing plan. They're just doing, well, one of 2 sides I see. It's one of 2 extremes normally. Either they are doing a lot, but they're just, doing a little bit of everything and nothing incredibly well. Nothing where they're busy, but it's not growing their list. So they're not crossing their T's or dotting their I's. And then there's others that are just simply not doing enough. Like if I'm like, well, how are you marketing? Well, I go to networking events, and I've got business cards and websites and a website. I'm like, okay, great. What else? What else are you doing? Like, simply not enough. They're simply not casting that net wide enough. And I'm big on less is more when it comes to marketing, but to do that less, more consistently. And I'm also big on not listening to all the experts. So even though, blogging experts going to say, you got to be blogging, and a Facebook expert, you got to be on Facebook, and an Instagram, you got to be on Instagram, and a speaker, you've got to be speaking. No, you don't have to be doing all these things. Pick 3 strategies that reach your ideal client, that feel authentic and natural to you. And of course, there's a lot of work and thinking to get into, like, well, what are those 3 strategies? But then take all the rest off your plate and not feel guilty about it. Okay? The middle part of your funnel is once you're working your marketing plan. Ladies, this is part of my marketing strategy, doing a webinar at least once a month, so 1 to 2 webinars a month. And so you all were what? Added to my list. You gave me your name and email address in exchange for this valuable time together. So that's the middle part of the funnel, this keep in touch. what I like to call dating my list, right? So we're going to start dating. If we haven't already been dating, we're going to start dating. And I'm going to come into your email inbox once a week with a tip, with encouragement to help you grow your business. And 80% of the time that I'm going to communicate with you, it's just to give you pure value. I'm not asking for anything in return. It is just to help simplify this business building process. So if you don't have a keep in touch strategy, and it's a keep in touch strategy with your leads and also some love on your client strategies. You know, like when a brand new mentoring client starts with me, for example, I want to send her something. You know, I send her brownies and then I send her something midway through. And so there's just little things that you can do to love on even your current clients to deepen that relationship with you. And then we get to the bottom part of your funnel. And this is where most people are lacking as well, is that we want to have irresistible offers. Again, most people are selling their time and not having this irresistible offer or solution or package. And if you are telling people what you do, and they're like, oh, that's cool, that's great, that's interesting, or I know so-and-so really needs that, but no one is like, really? You can do that? You can help me with that? How does this work? Let's get started. So that irresistible offer that is so built around your ideal client, and also where we might be lacking in this bottom part of your funnel, is that knowing how to convert. Because many people just say, well, I just need to have more leads. And that's not the case. I mean, more leads are great. This is the top part of your funnel. But what if I gave you today, each of you, 5,000 leads? Add these to your list. They're expecting to be added to your list. They are the perfect dream client. Then what are you going to do with them? Most people, unfortunately, there'll be a big old hole in the middle part of the funnel, and those 5,000 people will fall out of the hole. They'll escape your profit funnel. I don't know if escape's the right word. They'll slip out of your profit funnel because the keep in touch strategy is not there. And then that conversion, like how are you going to convert someone to be a new client? What is it going to take? It's different for all of us. Is it a sales page on your website? And how do you write that in a way that's going to really convert, do the selling for you? Or is it going to require a conversation? And what is that conversation going to be like? And how are you going to get people to want to sign up for that conversation? So that's a profit funnel. It takes these three parts, which again, don't feel bad. Do not beat yourself up. If Negative Nelly's being loud right now and being like, girl, you don't have any of that up and running, don't stress, okay? Like I said, 90% of folks don't. But the sooner you have a profit funnel up and running, the sooner your business is going to actually start working for you. I also talked about this high-level transformational offer, and this is huge. And the way you can start thinking about your high-level transformational offer is to think about if you were to make a big, bold claim. And I'm not saying that you're going to make this big, bold claim, and I'm not going to say that it's going to, it's definitely not going to sound cheesy, but if you, bear with me for a second, ladies, just use this for brainstorming. If you were to make a big, bold claim and assume that you can deliver absolutely on this big, bold claim, what would that big, bold claim be that your ideal client would be like, really? You can help me with that? Let's do it. Let's get started today. It's got to be something that's measurable. It's got to be something that's tangible. Like, let's say that your ideal dream client, if you said, I work with women who want to lose, at least 20 pounds in the next 3 months, that's a big, bold claim. 20 pounds in the next 3 months. Now, that means that you know your dream client, and you know that that's a bold claim that they'll be like, really? Help me do this. Or is it that, the way that I work with folks now, my brand new mentoring circles, I've made a bold claim that, and I only work with 3 new women a month, and in the mentoring circle, it is that we will bring your business to a 6-figure practice in 6 months. That's a bold claim. A bold claim that my dream client wants. So is your bold claim, there was this mentor, his bold claim, he's phenomenal. Now his bold claim, and that he delivered on, was when you want to make $20,000 a month, working 30 hours a week with only a part-time assistant. So he got really good at helping folks make that claim a reality in the quickest, easiest way. And that was his main thing was his main thing. Is your transformational offer that this individual will have all day natural energy from sunrise to sunset, and they will experience that in the next 2 months. So if you think about health, think about relationships, right? It's that to become that individual that you need to become to find your soulmate in the next 90 days. So it's the brainstorming starts there. And I'm sure you know a lot more about that big, bold claim that your ideal client would be so hungry for than you probably know. And it starts there. And then, ladies, what's fabulous about a transformational offer is then, if that is truly the big, bold claim, it's going to be a little bit outside your comfort zone, I'm sure. But guess what? This isn't about making sales. This is about now you being like, oh gosh, I got to deliver. You get really creative. You think through, okay, if I'm all about helping this individual get to that transformational level, how do I do that? Like, how do I get them there? And you're going to be all in, right? You are all in. You will personally not be satisfied until they get that transformation. It makes you start thinking about how you're going to work with folks very differently. Plus, it's going to make you think about who you are going to work with, right? There's only certain types of businesses that I work with, only certain types of individuals that I work with. I'm very particular about who I work with. I'm very particular about who I let into a mentoring circle, because not only do I want to, it be someone that I like because I'm going to invest 6 months of my life, but when you have but it needs to be someone that I'm confident that we can get them there. So when you have a transformational offer, you're very particular about the type of person that transformational offer is for. And this is a side note, but just because it comes up a lot of times with some of my clients, it's that if folks, sorry, I lost my train of thought here. There's a question. Can you give us a tip on how to create our big, bold claim? Now, a couple of ways. So first, it starts with, you thinking about what have you heard from your clients' mouths. If they're like, oh, if someone can just help me with such and such. Or be thinking about, let's talk about health, right? What are those big, bold claims on the cover of a magazine? Or what are those big, bold claims that, there are big, bold claims on like webinars, ebooks, right? A big, bold claim that I see now is, and I know my ideal client's interested in that, is growing your list to 1,000 leads in 90 days. That's a big, bold claim. And that's something that's fabulous for virtual assistants, web designers. Like, if you then had a process and you're like, ooh, I'm going to deliver on this individual, we're going to grow their list to 1,000 in 3 months. Or is it, you got to think about what that transformation is around, right? Is it around the relationship? Is it around their money? So what's trending in the industry? Yeah, absolutely what's trending in the industry. Now, for me, I know that that's what, you look at any webinar title, 6 figures is what people are wanting. And again, we're not utilizing this big, bold offer to be salesy, because then ladies, we're like, all right, I'm going to up my game. Now, for me, I've realized that it takes this actually might be on the next slide. Oops, sorry. So they want, first of all, they want that big, bold claim. If I'm like, we can get you to 6 figures, and we can do it in 3 months, we can do it in 6 months, or we do it in a year. It's totally up to you, right? You got this broken arm, and they're like, well, we can fix your arm in a week, 3 months, or a year. What do you want? They obviously want to do it in the quickest, easiest way. But to be honest, I can't get you a 6-figure business in a month, in 2 months, right? So we want to get them those results in the quickest, easiest way, giving them no more and no less than they need, but realistically, how long is it going to take? So that's super, super important. But you're going to get creative and you're going to think outside the box. So once you know that big, bold claim, and Lori, that was great, and what's trending in the industry, what you know, I'm big on doing market research, right, hearing it directly from your clients' mouths, then you make it so irresistible to them. You got to think outside the box. Like for me, I've realized that it's not just me. I have members on my team that are part of my solution, because there's some things that can trip them up along the way, right? Maybe having a website designed, or having a copywriter, get their copyright. And so for me, it's a matter of then there are other people that are essentially part of my team, part of that ultimate solution, in order to get them that big, bold claim and to be able to deliver on it. So I have increased my team with this offer. So sometimes it's not always us. And for me, it's different, right? Because when an individual works with me, they don't pay separate, like if they need a website design, more money for that. If they're going to have the virtual assistant, more money for that. For me, it's just one investment, and they don't need to worry about paying anything else. But it doesn't always need to be like that. It could be that you know that this individual, to get them up that mountain, would also need the help of another type of expert. And it might just be that you're being able to provide that referral, or you do get a discounted rate. But once you know that big, bold claim, we just want to take as many people up that mountain successfully, because once they do that, you get them that transformation, they're going to stand on that mountain and they're going to shout all around. You got to work with Claire. You got to work with Lori. You got to work with Sarah. You got to. And your marketing, oh my gosh, yes, you keep it up, but it just takes on a world of its own. But if you look at the numbers, right, so $8,500 a month, that's $102,000 a year. And if your results are pretty dramatic, like if someone is feeling like garbage and you work with them, and now they're able to sleep through the nights, they feel like a totally different person, and they think clearly, they don't have this anxiety anymore, what is that result worth to them? What is that result, right? So for me, for someone that maybe is bringing in, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, for them to consistently bring in $8,000, what is that worth to them? Gosh, that's already a difference. If every month they're not there, they're losing out on $5,000, right? What is that result? And that's what we're selling. We're not selling that, when I can get someone to 6 figures, they don't care again if it took me 10 hours of my time or 100. They're paying for that result. And what's phenomenal is once you have this transformational offer, it's a very simple business model. You don't have all these big launches, no big stress. Again, it makes us up our game because it makes us deliver, which is phenomenal. And then imagine just becoming known as that go-to person to get results. That's truly what it's about. And last but not least, under this part, we were talking about keeping more profit. And I just needed to throw out this book. It's called Profit First, Phenomenal, by Mike Michalowicz. And to be honest, the dirty secret in the industry is most businesses are just a couple bad months away from bankruptcy. Whether you are just, a new business, or you are like the entrepreneur that was on Entrepreneurs Magazine. But it doesn't need to be like that. You could be so different in a very simple way. No more feast or famine. No more too much going out. So please, ladies, get this book. Get it from your library. Get it on Amazon. It is phenomenal. Read it. It's for the non-accountant. And get your business financially healthy. So that's what it takes for a 6-figure practice. That strong profit funnel, right, all those 3 parts, this high-level transformational offer, which I'm going to extend the opportunity for you and I to hop on the phone, and let's talk about what that transformational offer might look like for you, because maybe your head's spinning, but you don't see it for yourself right now. And it's about keeping more and more of the profit. So last but not least, how do you get your business to run like a well-oiled machine? What are those 6-figure habits? And it really comes down to how we're managing our time and our calendar, how we're managing our stuff, and how we're managing our repetitive tasks. So with our time in the calendar, it's so simple. It's like sometimes it just feels so simple, too simple for me to do, but to be honest, this is where a lot of folks are tripped up. It's just figuring out an ideal schedule. When are you going to work? What days of the week? What hours? And just work them. Show up. It's about having what I call a weekly sanity meeting. If any of you are David Allen fans of getting things done, he calls it your weekly review meeting. I call it my weekly sanity meeting. Monday mornings, it helps me stay sane. I just get caught up, figure out my week, right? It's about when you're going to work, so when I start work at 9, that I've got time in the morning that I'm going to work on what's most important to moving my business forward, not getting into emails and other people's urgencies, and it's about working on those most important things first. And it's about just having enjoyable routines. How I start my morning is so enjoyable. How I start my day, how I wrap up. So it's having some of these routines, and it's having boundaries around your time. It's amazing how being too responsive is actually counterproductive. It can rob you of your peace and empty your own bucket. So my clients know I'm going to check email and Facebook one time a day, Monday through Friday, not nights and weekends, and they respect that. They respect that. So what are your boundaries, and set them. You respect them and let others know, and I am so much more productive than if I was like trying to respond to everything all the time. Our stuff, it's about our emails, processing them, and I encourage you all ladies to become a member of the Zero Email Club. You can call it Inbox Zero, you can call it, now, like I said, I'm not always on top of my email because there's days where I'm just back-to-back mentoring calls. And, you know, I'll check in my emails at one time a day, a couple of times a day. But at least during my sanity meeting, my Monday mornings, I'm going to get my emails down to 0. And if any of you are struggling with that, I just wanted to share a book called Getting Things Done by David Allen. A big fan. I don't know if any of you are, okay, good. Looks like some of you like David Allen. Wonderful. Or getting your emails down to 0. And so during my sanity meeting, I'm going to get my emails down to 0. I'm going to like get current, meaning just all these, I'm not a naturally neat person, right? So I collect all this stuff. Papers, notes, little stickies. So I just gather them all together and I just process them during my weekly sanity meeting. When I say process, I'll just pick it up. Do I need to do anything with this or not? If what, yes. If not, let me throw it out, recycle. And then the last thing are repetitive tasks. That this is another thing. It's like, you know, if I do a monthly webinar, I want to know, I have a process, right? There's a lot of steps that are involved with the lead, you know, getting the opt-in and the emails and this and then sending out recordings. And so instead of doing them over and over and over again, why don't I just capture a process, get some pen to paper? And what I love to do, there's this free system called Jing, J-I-N-G, and because many of my repetitive tasks, I'll have my virtual assistant do. So once I have it down in a Word document, I just record Jing, and it's a screenshot, and she hears me, and I say, okay, we're going to do this, and then if you could do this, and I'll maybe even show her how to do it, and then done. We have the task, we've got the recording, we know who's going to do what to automate and outsource. But those are 3 of the biggest things, ladies, for us to really get a handle of, is how we're managing our time, how we're managing our stuff, and how we're managing our repetitive tasks. But bottom line, ladies, is that you truly can have all the money and clients you want. It's just a matter of clearing out our gunk and finding that daily practice that's really going to work for you. And it's about figuring out what is that dream practice, because you can absolutely have that dream practice. But again, many of us just don't know the details. And if our intentions are not clear, exactly what we want, we're just going to get a hodgepodge of results. You can also have the mechanics of a 6-figure practice. Yes, there's plenty that's involved with your marketing and your keep in touch and your offer, but once it's up in place, oh my gosh, and it's running like a well-oiled machine, yes, you're going to keep perfecting your profit funnel. I look at my profit funnel every 3 months. Every 3 months, I sort of reassess my business. How are things going? Right? Is there anything that's been nagging at me, any loose ends? I take a look at my profit funnel, and I have a full profit funnel. It's working well. But every 3 months, I can perfect it. There's tons of room for improvement. So I'll just analyze it. Like, where can I strengthen my profit funnel? Where can things maybe be automated, streamlined? And then I'll ask myself, you know, where maybe have some work habits trip me up? Or maybe I have some new time and energy drains, you know, things that I'm like, this is taking so much, there's got to be another solution. If you ever say there's another solution, there's another solution. So I reassess all of that every 3 months. And then lastly, you can have your business running like a well-oiled machine with some simple, customized, right, not one-size-fits-all solutions to just manage your time, your stuff, and your processes. So I firmly believe in you. Absolutely. Like I said at the beginning, the only way you can fail in getting where you want to go is if you give up. But again, maybe you have questions about this, like how you could have a simple business model, what that high-end, irresistible, bold claim could be for you. A lot of times it's an outside perspective that can see what that bold claim could be. Because again, our negative Nelly, our limiting beliefs, oh, I don't know if I could do that. So let's talk. Go to talkwithclaire.com and just give me a little bit of information on you. Super casual conversation. You and I will just hop on the phone. We'll just talk a bit about where you're at, you know, where you want to go, brainstorm some ways to get there, brainstorm some ways about what that high-level offer could look like for you. Because it is absolutely possible to get where you want to be when you have this strong mindset, this strong profit funnel, these six-figure systems for more ease and more free time. You can absolutely get there. Even if you feel like you've made so much progress, you're proud of where you're at, but again, you feel like you've got this jumbled mess, let's just sort of sort through that jumbled mess. Because instead of taking 5 years to get there in 6 months. You know, every month you're not there, you are losing out on money and peace and sanity, right? So again, I'd love to hop on the phone. There's nothing I love more than talking with another businesswoman, seeing where you're at, giving you some ideas, breathing some belief into you. So please just go to talkwithclaire.com and let's do that. Let's chat. So ladies, I know we are a couple of minutes over because of my technical glitch, and I just appreciate you all going with the flow and calling in. I am going to send out the call recording for those. I hate that they blocked out the time and couldn't listen in, but I will get that squared away. But if there's a specific question, feel free to type in the chat function. And also when I send out the recording, if you've thought of a question sent, feel free to just go ahead and hit reply. But again, the best thing would be, I would just love to get on the phone. Just go to talkwithclaire.com and let's hop on the phone and let's see what that high-level offer could be. And so thank you, ladies. Thank you so much for your time. I cannot wait to talk and to really, dig on into your business and what that can look like. And you guys just have a great, great weekend. And I don't see any questions. And so thank you so much, guys. Have a good one. Bye.